People laughing for more than 30 years as host of The Late Show with David Letterman. Now he's got just 3 shows left before he retires.
Joining us live this morning to talk about some of David Letterman's best moments, BBC.com Deputy Culture Editor Christian Blauvelt. Welcome back, Christian.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tough to just narrow this down to a few highlights.
So many great moments. 6,000 shows he's taped over 33 years in late night. 22 of those years on CBS. It's incredible. He changed comedy forever.
Now, one of his favorites and a recurring guest was Julia Roberts, and we heard her say that he's actually given her flowers every week on her birthday. One of their many great moments on the show.
Oh, absolutely. She's been on 26 times over the years, and every single time they share a kiss, actually. And this past week when she was on, he actually showed a montage of all the times that they've kissed over the years. It's those little traditions that really make Dave's show so unique, you know.
She said she was very intimidated the very first time she was on David Letterman.
Oh yeah, well he can be an intimidating presence, no doubt about it. You know, he isn't always the most ingratiating host. You know, Madonna and Cher have actually cursed him out on air. So sometimes, you know, not everyone is all that comfortable with him, but he and Julia really hit it off.
It does seem she's gotten over that whole intimidation.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at all these kisses there. Let's talk about Joaquin Phoenix. That's another highlight.
Well, that's the thing. Some of his best moments have been in recent years. So in February 2009, Joaquin Phoenix was on the show. He was bearded and bewildered. He even ended up sticking his chewing gum on Dave's desk.
So awkward to watch.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thought that Joaquin had lost his mind, and it turns out it was all a hoax. It was just like an elaborate meta commentary on celebrity, and Dave was in on the joke. He played along, and a year and a half later on The Late Show, they revealed together that it was a hoax. It was amazing. It showed that Dave could turn an interview into performance.
Well, it certainly worked. People talked about that interview for quite some time. He also has some very reputable feuds. One was with Oprah, and he finally got her on the show. What did you think of that interview?
Oh, that was incredible. So that was in 2005. Oprah hadn't been on his show in 16 years. There are a lot of different reasons speculated for why exactly there was a feud there, but finally she came on in 2005, and they really hit it off. He ended up walking her down the street to her theater where her musical The Color Purple was playing, and it was his highest rated broadcast in a decade.
When Oprah was on the show, she was like, I don't know why people are saying we had a feud.
Yeah.
She didn't get it, she said.
She didn't. I mean, there's so many different reasons. Some say that he like forced her to pick up the tab at a restaurant once.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. They buried the hatchet, and then she facilitated another great moment a couple years later, where she brought Dave and Jay Leno together.
Talk about feuds, right?
Talk about a feud for this amazing Super Bowl commercial promoting The Late Show in 2010. Jay Leno and David Letterman famously engaged in the late night wars because Jay Leno had succeeded Johnny Carson on NBC as the host of The Tonight Show over Letterman, who had kind of been Carson's chosen successor. But they buried the hatchet for this hilarious commercial. It was great.
Really funny. And talk about New York as a guest on the show, the Ed Sullivan, and just, you know, all the places around the Ed Sullivan Theater that have come up.
That's the thing. That's one of the things that makes his show so unique, that New York was really a character on the show. It was a guest itself. That, you know, he had Paul McCartney play a set on the Ed Sullivan Theater's marquee. He played tennis out on 53rd Street with Serena Williams. Always the way that he would check in with his neighbors, like Rupert G at the Hello Deli. He just created this sense of community. And I know, like, for me, when I first moved to New York 7 years ago, my office was right across the street from his theater, and it felt like, you know, a neighborhood I already knew. I already knew my neighbors because of Dave's show. And I think for a lot of people, he really contributed to the idea of New York as America's neighborhood.
And Christian, what do you think about all these changes in late night and where they're all going?
Yeah, it's a funny thing, because I think that, you know, Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel and possibly Stephen Colbert are just a lot nicer in a way than Dave. You know, Dave could, you know, he could rub some people the wrong way. He wasn't always that ingratiating. So yeah, it's a different landscape now, for sure.
A nicer era in late night.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Thank you, Christian, so much. We appreciate you coming in.
Oh, my pleasure.
As always. And you can watch the very last Late Show with David Letterman on Wednesday night at 11:35 right here on CBS 2. Time now.